I left conventional medicine behind for several reasons. The main reason is that it wasn't working for me and it wasn't working for my patients. I felt like I was just dealing drugs for the pharmaceutical companies. And I myself had accumulated a number of pharmaceutical drugs for my own regimen over the years because that's how I learned to fix my own problems. So, I thought at the ripe age of 30 years old, why am I on 12 prescription medications and I've never felt worse in my entire life? Why am I tired? Why am I depressed? Why am I anxious? Why do I have headaches? Why do I have all these gastrointestinal issues? And why have I gained 80 pounds over 5 years and nobody can explain? Why do I have high blood pressure? I'm way too young to be on high blood pressure medication. And my blood work was always normal. So nothing ever showed up. I couldn't figure it out. My colleagues couldn't figure it out. And I just knew that something wasn't right and something had to change. And the system just has a lot of problems. So I discovered this whole field of wellness medicine or holistic medicine or AKA functional medicine, which is about getting to the root causes.
So my story, it's interesting. About 12 years ago, I met Dr. McManus in private practice. She was working with my primary care physician one day and he wasn't there, and I was at the doctor's office all the time, and the person scheduling said, well, we've got this new doctor and I can put you in with her. And I said, okay, sure, whatever. And the moment I met her, I just felt a connection. So after a few months, she started talking about this taking a more natural approach to medicine. I was like, no thanks, because I had just gotten to the place where the top of my head wasn't going to blow off because I had horrible depression and anxiety that was only managed by prescription drugs. So I was on a bunch of medications, but the anxiety and depression were horrible. And she said, I really think I can help you. I think you have some unresolved issues that I'm learning about. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks, but good luck to you. So that went on for a while, and every time I went in, she's like, come on, you gotta let me give this a shot. So when we talked about doing this wellness thing, she knew I hated the drugs. I hated the side effects, the decreased libido, the weight gain, the problem sleeping, and then taking a medication to help me sleep because I couldn't sleep because of the drugs. And so when she put me on this whole wellness program, this approach to wellness, which is cleaning up the gut, treating nutritional deficiencies, optimizing hormones. I had an undiagnosed thyroid condition that I had been to 5 doctors for that nobody had been able to find because my blood work was always perfect. And just within a few weeks, I knew that we were onto something. And probably a couple of months later, I begged her for a job. I just want to be a part of this because I felt like it was revolutionary in its approach. Even though it's not, they've been doing this for a long time, but traditional medicine just doesn't. So anyway, long story short, fast forward 12 years, here I am. Who knew at that point that I'd still be here this long later? So that's kind of my story. It's how I got here, and it's why I plan to stay here.
I came to Dr. McManus because she seemed to be a fit for my needs. When I came up here, she did a very long, lengthy interview to find out everything about me so that she would come up to speed with my needs and what I'm taking and how I'm working on everything. And basically, when you get right onto it, within 24 hours, 90% of my skin problem had disappeared. It blew me away, where I'd been to other doctors and they wanted to experiment with me and they wanted me to sign release forms, and they basically didn't know what they were going to do. And it was scary. Where here, they take care of you, they're very friendly, and it's enjoyable. And I've had very good results with it, and I have been very pleased.
I moved to this area 2 years ago. I was in the medical device sales field, and so I spent a lot of time in the medical field, but I really tried to stay away from it as far as a patient as much as I could. But I really struggled with the stress and fatigue. Didn't know the toll that it was taking on my adrenal system. And so when I arrived here and heard about Dr. McManus as a functional medicine doctor, I was already on a path of trying to learn about good nutrition and alternative ways of maintaining health instead of just sick care, doing true health care instead of just sick care. And learned so much about nutrition through a 3-hour consult with their nutritionist here, Nancy, and was just phenomenal. She spends several hours talking to you about nutrition and then takes you through HEB and shows you all the things that are good and bad and things that you can use. And so that really started me on the path. Through that, that truly was life-changing. Totally changed the way I think about food, which has been a lifelong struggle for me. And it truly is treating the whole person, and it's actually treating you in health, not in sickness. And it's a different focus, a different way of looking at healthcare.
What I love most about working here is what we can do for people. You know, one of the parts of my job is I get to talk to people when they call in for information to see if, you know, that this is a good match for them. So I hear the desperation in their voice. I list their medications on their treatment sheets, and I know what kind of shape they're in, and I've been there so I can relate to them. So knowing that we can give somebody their health back, their life back, that's huge. That's huge. It really is about getting to the underlying cause of the problem and fixing that, and then living the good life after that.